GM, everyone. We are back for the third edition of the NFT Roundtable and our first ever live show here. Welcome anyone new to the show. We encourage you, this is our first live one, so we encourage you to share your thoughts, comments in the chat. We already see CT in here. What's up, CT? Our ordinal whisperer. Shout out the lucky lead every morning. We've got a full squad here today. Everyone's back. Welcome back to Tyler from his vacation last week. How's everybody doing? Tyler, how was that vacation?
Vacation was good, but I was gone for a week, and the Bears took over the NFT market. It was complete disarray, red all over the board. Guess what? I've been back for 3 days, and we're back in the green. The Bears are reeling. The Bulls are singing. We are back, baby, and I'm excited to be here.
All it took was Tyler coming back from vacation to get things going again. So it is a beautiful day. A little reminder of what the Roundtable is all about. We give you the serious news at Lucky Trader every day, but we're all individuals playing in our different sandboxes across the NFT space. We got our hot takes, and finally we get a chance to share them on this forum here. So we started this to have some fun, more like a casual Friday vibe that you see on our Lucky Elite in the morning, and share some more personal views of the space. So we're bringing that weird, fun energy to the show every Wednesday here. Reminder, this isn't financial advice. None of us know anything. And if you like this content, we have a accompanying Roundtable article here every week that is a written form of what we're doing here. So today we've got a few topics to hit. We've got the y00ts second trip and Yuga announcements around the Legends of Mara. We've got Ticketmaster and NFT ticketing, y00ts to Polygon, the rise of Nakamigos, and then if we have time, we will hit our NFT bracketology again. So we'll get into our first topic here, and that is Yuga's world.
Let's do it.
All right. So this weekend, we saw the second trip for Yuga's other side with over 7,000 players joining the experience. Users were broken up into 4 teams for a minigame, collecting blobs to feed the toads. And the finale also included a gigantic-looking dragon. So I've got a few slides up here to show. This is how many people we saw in the event. A good screenshot there from the Yuga Labs Twitter. And they had these boards all over, kind of showing you a glimpse of the view. We got a narrator over there. Curtis was up top there doing all of the narration throughout the show. The other side second trip was won by Team Galatia, which I was lucky enough to be on. And they will be receiving a winged helmet airdrop, which is exciting. And the experience kind of gave users a taste of 3 different types of y00ts plots and was like an interesting public demo of the technology as the team continues to build here. Then on Monday, Yuga announced the details for the other side, Legends of Mara, or LOTM, which will be a 2D standalone gaming experience powered by ApeCoin, which will explore the lores of the other side and its characters. Each y00ts holder will get 1 free vessel, which is a new NFT that we'll see there. And then vessels serve as meteor shelters for shades and have different functions, including hunting, farming, and enchanting. We'll also see codas decouple from deeds, and the claim is supposed to start soon with the game coming in May. And here are a couple other ones here. But I want to queue up Tyler first here. You previously have expressed these concerns on the Lucky Lead here that Yuga has a lot of balls in the air to juggle. So I'm curious about how you're feeling about the second trip and the Legends of Mara announcement, and if you're concerned about the additional complexities that are kind of being added here.
Yeah, I think my concerns were very valid as we saw Yuga make mistakes with the ordinals drop with that duplication, and then again with the heavy metal drop, right, where they it was the companion trait. They totally botched it for a few hours there. With that being said, overall they continue to be doing a pretty solid job. I think the stakes are again as high as ever, given how brutal this bear market has been, given the recent run up in the y00ts prices. If there are any more continued mistakes, I don't think the market's going to be super forgiving, and we will absolutely see some backlash. But I mean, with that being said, the feedback I saw from the second trip was pretty positive, and we've seen. I can't argue against the market reaction against the Legends of the Mara news. It came out and D's ran right back to where they were, up at 1.8, 1.9. So folks are ready to buy in, and it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, so we've got the beautiful Lucky Trader chart here. You notice a steep rise there on the announcement. And we actually just got another announcement, which I'll pull up in a second here, just a couple minutes ago regarding the heavy metal collection. And we saw some teasers of that. So we'll pull those up in just a second. Logan or Jason, you got any thoughts on the other side execution here and the potential game coming up?
I'm punching myself for looking at this chart and not realizing how much of a slam dunk potential trade there was. I was telling Tyler the other day, we actually knew Legends of Tomorrow was coming. And I'm not sure if many people remember the announcement, but February 7th, I wrote up a post in Lucky Trader about Legends of Tomorrow and ApeCoin experience for right after the second trip. And then I just kind of totally forgot that Legends of Tomorrow was coming. Kicking myself, of course, if you were to scroll back this chart a little bit, you'd see, a much lower floor price overall, at least in terms of percentages. As for the second trip itself, I didn't participate. I don't have another deed, and I'm not really a metaverse person. But I am glad to see that many folks seem to have had a pretty good time. And I wrote up in the roundtable, regarding the other side experience and kind of the execution here. I just think it's really smart that they continue to try to compartmentalize a lot of the things that they're doing. They are working on lots of different things, right? Legends of the Mara, second trip, other side, Bitcoin, etc. But they seem to have done a pretty good job of not needing users to connect all of those intricate dots. And I just think it makes it a bit easier and reduces some of the execution risk that projects like, in my opinion, Artifact and others have brought on by trying to tie every single thing together. It's difficult to pay attention to all of Yuga, but you can sort of stay in your Yuga lane and you're probably okay.
Jason, you wrote the guide for Lucky Trader on the Legends of Mara here. You got any thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I think it's super smart. Legends of Mara is super smart to go 2D instead of 3D. There's less execution risk, and I really think that what they're trying to do here is storytelling more than gaming. I'm super bullish gaming long term for NFTs, but not within the next few months. It takes years to build real AAA games. But I think you can build 2D games rather quickly, and you can tell stories. And I think NFTs lend themselves to those smaller 2D games anyway. And yeah, Legends of Mara, or Legend of the Mara, looks super cool based on the website. Check out that article. And it seems like Yuga Labs actually took a lot of time to develop this, and it should benefit holders in the long run. But that said, also wrote in the article, there's just no way you can convince me to pay thousands of dollars to play this 2D game. I think it's just cool for holders who already own these things to play.
Well, and so it might change your mind to play the game if you get a key at the end, like Mongrel, that drops you $1 million worth of cash there. So I think that there will be some incentives there. Tyler, your thoughts?
You're just scrolling through the site here. I'm kind of seeing some of these for the first time. What are folks' reactions? If you keep scrolling down, Ghost, they'll show you the 8 different types, and we get some previews of like the glitch, the celestials, the bios, and whatnot. I don't know. I'm not so sure on these things.
I think that they certainly look a bit different than I feel like some of the other stuff that we've seen in the Yuga ecosystem there.
Very different. And kind of coming this back to execution risk and all these different verticals within Yuga, I think we're going to start to potentially see, not just a Yuga overarching brand, but like which of their vertical teams are stronger than others. So like, how's the other side team performing? How is this heavy metal team performing? And it's going to be interesting to see, them compared with like the Ordinals team and the art team getting spun up here, and which team seems stronger. And that might be a way to kind of shape Yuga focused investing here in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you've talked about Pio's quote where the market likes fastballs. This doesn't feel like a fastball here. This feels like it's a little complex. So do you guys think that this is the 2D type of game is what the market wants, or the NFT space will be interested in? Or is this something that might be too complex for holders to do, where Dookie Dash was kind of like a very simple game to understand?
I think a very select group of users will have a great time with this, much like those who are willing to get in the weeds, to participate in something like Parallel, right? It does seem like there's probably a pretty strong crossover of nerds, right, that want to play those types of games, if I can use that term in an endearing way. And so I think, they'll probably find a strong contingent of folks who, 1, want to play, 2, want to have those financial incentives overall. I am not that person, not at all. You will not find me, Jason. I'm sorry. I'm probably not going to spend too much time, looking for strategy within your guide. Though if people are looking for it, they should certainly turn their attention there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all great takes there. I'm really interested to see the price action here, both for the heavy metal and the other deeds here. I mean, we've already seen them rise a bit, but I wonder if that's more of a sell the rumor or buy the rumor, sell the news type event where once the game starts going, things might dip down again. But we do have the airdrop coming. So
has heavy metal moved at all? Since I know this announcement happened like right before we hopped on. So
I'm pulling it up. No, it's at 2.3. It's moved a bit in like the last couple of days, but today, not on this news. So it's looking steady. So it's not dumping, but it's not really seeing a rush of buys.
It's probably a bullish stability in a market like this where, typically the announcement, right, is the catalyst to sell off because anticipation rules everything. So.
Well, I want to move it on to the next topic here, which is going to be Ticketmaster with a big announcement this week. That might have been a little loud. I apologize. We were getting in the heavy metal mode there because Ticketmaster announced a big NFT gated concert tickets in partnership with Avenged Sevenfold, the metal band there. I don't know if any of us are fans of Avenged Sevenfold. I know Logan in his roundtable thing said that he had never heard of them, which I think is wild. So anyway, NFT gated ticket sales are now available on Ticketmaster. Avenged Sevenfold pioneers the feature for exclusive pre-sales, and the token gating offers improved security and unique fan experiences. So Avenged Sevenfold's Death Bats NFT Club served as the pilot for the token game features, and owners of the 10,000 Death Bat Club Ethereum NFTs were granted early access to purchase tickets with the band's upcoming tour in New York City and Los Angeles. So the current state of live music has some issues, as Tyler noted today in his Morning Minute. And let me pull this up here. Here's the Death Bats collection for those who aren't familiar. But a lot of the issues that we see include average ticket prices tripling since the mid-90s, even before they hit the secondary market, fees being added to each ticket that can be as high as 78% of the ticket price, and tickets can be nearly impossible to buy on primary, as Ticketmaster often holds 90% of the supply back. So we've seen Avenged Sevenfold kind of pioneering this. M Shadows had some very interesting thoughts, and he's an OG in the NFT space. He's got his CryptoPunk there. He's been polling kind of the people on Twitter there to see if they are really anti-blockchain or if they're just interested in getting better ticket prices. So that was a fun poll there. And then here's an example of one of the fans who had a good experience with it and got a really good price on secondary when it came to the tickets. So I'm curious to hear from the group here. Maybe I'll start with Tyler again, since you wrote the article this morning. How big do you feel like this Ticketmaster news is? And is this how mass adoption comes to the NFT space with this technology?
Yeah, I think it's hard to overstate how big a news this is. I think this is the biggest news of the week, the month, maybe of the year, where we're seeing real world examples of use cases for NFT technology that can be delivered at scale now with a brand the size of Ticketmaster. In that tweet that you were just showing, I mean, that right there is the exact use case, the optimal scenario of why someone would go through this process and own an NFT of the band that they like. It gives you the ability to buy tickets for the concert you want to go to at a reasonable price, as opposed to having to try to fight the queue, not getting your tickets, then having to buy for someone else at 3x the cost, which is almost exactly what it played out here. That they bought 2 tickets for $275. A few days later, it was $750 for the pair. That's just incredible, and I'm very bullish on this use case, as well as all the other use cases that NFTs can bring to the music and live event space. So I think we're just starting to scratch the surface here.
Logan or Jason, any thoughts there?
I guess I'll defend myself a bit. Sorry about not really knowing who Avenged Sevenfold is. I'm not a metal listener at all. I want to pose actually a small question after I respond here to the group, which is, and this isn't really a joke, but if it were a different band, not necessarily more successful or more popular, because as Jason's pointed out to me, Avenged Sevenfold is apparently both of those things, not in my small neck of the woods. But if this were a different band, do you think it would be, making a bigger splash? At least in my timeline, it doesn't seem to have had perhaps as much of a reverb as I expected. And maybe that's just poor anecdotal evidence, but I'm curious if there was like maybe a different a different band that was a little bit younger, that skewed a bit more, I don't know, demographically aligned with NFT holders. If this would be
which band would move the needle for Logan?
I don't know. I don't have a great example. I'm not even really a band person. You know what I mean? I can't name a favorite band or anything like that. But
your point makes sense.
That's just what I was thinking about. Like, is there a different group that that could have made this? I don't want to say it's not a big deal, because I do think it's a big deal. I think people have talked a lot about ticketing being like a really easy slam, not easy necessarily, but a slam dunk, for NFTs. And I think it's one of these examples where it's like kind of like, the easiest thing is definitely one of the best use cases. So I'm all for this moving forward. I think we're starting to see it play out. It's great to see, Avenged Sevenfold being willing to innovate for its fans, but could there be, some band that was, and I don't even know how old Avenged Sevenfold really is,
They're old enough. They're old enough that NFT holders aren't that interested in Avenged Sevenfold. I don't think that the band matters. I do think, obviously, the answer to your question is yes. Like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, any of these people who are consistently selling out concerts and have a huge wait list on Ticketmaster to get tickets to these concerts, are selling at 10x multiples from pre-sale, obviously would move the needle more than Avenged Sevenfold, but I don't think that the concept is any different. And Avenged Sevenfold is big enough that it shows that Ticketmaster is serious about this. It's not like a super small band that Ticketmaster was like, okay, we're going to partner with them, but if this doesn't work, then we're just going to write it off. Like, I think most people who are above 30 years old know who Avenged Sevenfold. I mean, they were first on Billboard for like 8 months straight with Hail to the King in 2011 or 2012. So, I mean, I think that this is the biggest NFT news maybe in the history of NFTs, and definitely in 2023.
Do you feel like do you feel like the markets like reacted that way though? I guess that's where I was getting at.
No,
it doesn't feel like.
No, they haven't, and that's only because you can't make money on this trade. I mean, what are you going to do? Buy Avenged Sevenfold's death bats? No one cares about that.
Oh, I mean, we just had the chart up, and someone cared about it because the price went up significantly since the announcement.
It went up 130%. So I'm on the opposite side.
What is it? It's like $100 or something to buy these death bats. I mean,
that's why you buy 100 of them. But
pull that back up here.
I'm chomping at the bit to buy some live music artist NFTs in 2023.
But the whole
semi decent.
I think the whole point here is that you shouldn't have to buy them. The best way to do this is to give them out for free and make people earn upgradable NFTs, earn them through listening to their music on YouTube or Spotify, which is like the #1 way to support an artist, going to live shows, actually recording that information on NFTs, buying albums, and then those NFTs that you've given out for free, then upgrade into like, oh, here are my top 10,000 fans, and these are the people who are going to get access first. It turns into the gamification of live events, and it's going to be absolutely massive. I don't think that there's too much profit to be had here for NFT traders, though.
Well, I mean, once those Taylor Swift NFTs come out and we're all sweeping the floor to then resell them to the Taylor Swift maxis out there, it might be a different story. I do think that the NFT royalties, the royalty situation, I think is an interesting one. Like I think you mentioned in the roundtable, Jason, about how it could also open up an extra stream of revenue for the artists. Curious to hear your thoughts on that, and if you feel like this kind of changes the relationship between artist and fan at all.
Yeah, I mean, artists hate the fact that their tickets sell for X number of dollars and then resell 10x that value. They don't want that to happen to fans. They don't want people paying those prices because they don't benefit. But with NFTs, they can benefit from every secondary sale. They can take royalty fees on secondary trades. And I mean, you could sell out Taylor Swift could sell out her entire tour in 15 seconds online and then collect additional millions of dollars in secondary revenue. And just like as a background, I studied music business. I have a music business degree in undergrad, so that's probably why I think that this is so huge. But it's just such an obvious use case for NFTs.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm going to leave us on this topic with this quote from M. Shadows, who is the frontman of Avenged Sevenfold, and he said, "It's a normal process except for the 1,000-person queue and without the scalpers and bots getting in there and taking everything right away." So I like his understanding of the market, and he seems to be a great person to be kind of pioneering this technology going forward here. Next news topic was y00ts to Polygon. So here we. All right. So the hotly anticipated bridging of y00ts to Polygon began late Monday night, with Phantom, Magic Eden, and Dust Labs all partnering to make this a kind of seamless move out there. And additionally, Magic Eden covered the gas fees for the transfer and is gifting users $5 in USDC for each y00ts listed on the marketplace, with fee-free trading for 30 days. And to incentivize people to move, there was a paper hands bridge tax, which was a callback to the paper hands tax that they had in the early days of the gods, which was a 33% royalty tax on the Solana collection starting on April 3rd. So really pushing people to move over. Some notable stats from the y00ts after the first day on Polygon: 11,400 y00ts migrated to Polygon. That was from this morning, which was about 85% of the supply, which is a wild number there. The floor was around 1.7 ETH on Polygon, and there was about 220 ETH in trading volume in the first day. Like I said, the 85 migration percentage really stood out to me. And as Tyler noticed in the morning minute, the volume came in below a new mint on Polygon called Brozos, and y00ts came in 12th on the overall board for volume. So I'm curious from the group, is anyone here concerned about the lack of volume on the move to Polygon? And what does that mean for Polygon NFTs moving forward?
Do you want our honest opinions?
Yeah,
I guess so. I'm not. I spoke about this a little bit this morning and in the Roundtable article. I'm not particularly concerned about the initial lack of volume, like from this first day. I do think it doesn't bode well that it was surpassed. But in terms of like the quantity of volume, I'm not like definitely scared of that. I mentioned this morning, and I'll just reiterate it for anybody who may be listening for the first time to my take on it is. I just think it's silly to have pushed this project to Polygon, which feels like a little brother chain. That's the analogy I've been using. I don't know. I think it really, really caps the potential upside. If you're going to go, Dust Labs, which has done a great job recently on executing on some of these things, if you're going to go and undertake the initiative to bridge something to ETH, why not just move y00ts to ETH? I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I'm not bullish on Polygon NFTs, Polygon PFPs, or anything like this. I am more bullish, of course, on chains and removal of friction overall in terms of trading. Of course, all those things are benefits, but why y00ts on Polygon? Why? Makes no sense.
I see CT in the chat. We know that she is a strong believer that Polygon NFTs belong in the hidden folder. Which is something that a lot of us from the early days of NFTs were kind of conditioned to feel like. Curious, Tyler or Jason, if you have any thoughts there.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been talking myself into some Polygon NFT action here in the last few weeks. And then I was researching this new home base DAO story where they just tokenized and sold a home over on Solana. They actually wrote a thread explaining their choice of Solana over Ethereum and Polygon. They didn't choose Polygon, and I quote, "Bridging money over is hard and expensive." And they viewed it as too much of a hurdle or roadblock for their user base to be able to overcome. It's a reminder of why we haven't seen that much success on Polygon. And I'm looking at the numbers now on for the y00ts over on Magic Eden Polygon. They've done 350 ETH volume in almost 2 days now, a solid day and a half of trading. That's not great. And I mean, you covered it in the intro. They got out traded by Brozos. It's a new degen mint that no one even knows about. They got beat by 60%.
Hey, Brozos to the moon, man.
It's hard to be max bullish on y00ts price action. We'll see how the community holds up during this. They seem to be doing okay.
I can't recall. Did Frank specifically indicate why Polygon? I remember writing the announcement long ago.
He gave about 3 million reasons why, which is
that's right. That's right. There was lots of talk, and this is speculation, of course, but there's lots of talk, right, about them mismanaging the treasury and the move over to something like Polygon, giving them, liquidity and funds necessary for potential mismanagement or whatever had happened there. Again, speculating. I don't have any confirmation on that. But otherwise, why would you go to Polygon? Like, even if you're the best NFT on Polygon, which it, seemingly probably is or has a very great potential to be, you're still so like, literally, you're second to everything else on ETH. Like, why would you want to be the best Polygon NFT? I don't know why. Like, I can't answer that. I don't know why anybody give me a good answer to why you would want to be the best Polygon NFT. Like, who gives a shit?
If you're bullish on Polygon becoming a more impactful NFT chain, right? Like, right. I just looked at the 30-day stats on Crypto Slam. Polygon saw 6% of the volume on Ethereum. And they take out all the blur wash trading. So the true percent is even much lower than that if you're counting all the blur volume. If you think they're going to take a meaningful share with all the biz dev resources they've got, I guess that's a reason. But yeah, I'm not.
None of this stuff has materialized yet, though, right? And maybe we're being a bit quick to rush to judgment on the Polygon stuff, but they've touted the business development stuff, but like nothing big has happened with any of those organizations at present time yet, right? Like, we're watching it every single day. Can you point to a single notable Polygon?
This is like the biggest brand NFT.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I have two things to say here. The first one is that why did y00ts move to Polygon? And that's because I don't care what anyone says. Polygon gave them a bunch of money to do so. I run a project, and we built originally on Terra. When Terra collapsed, we were chopping different blockchains, and our runway was low, and we went with the blockchain, a great blockchain in Near, but the blockchain that gave us the biggest grant. I mean, they gave them money to move there. That's pretty obvious at this point. The second point is about Polygon NFTs in general. I agree with you, Logan. I don't understand why y00ts would want to go to Polygon. It's a collectibles NFT. It's a limited edition collectibles NFT, a PFP project. But I do understand why other projects would want to go to Polygon, and that's because it's built for high transactions, a high number of transactions at relatively little cost. It's good for gaming. It's good for, like I said prior, Avenged Sevenfold NFTs if they were to hand them out for free, or other artists who partnered with Ticketmaster who were to hand NFTs out for free that were upgradable based on IRL events, upgradable based on blockchain activity, things like that. Those types of projects should be building on Polygon or layer 2 solutions to Ethereum or Solana or Near or whoever else is super cheap to build on. But if you're going to build a super limited PFP project, it's limited to 10,000 and is supposed to be this like collectible thing. You should probably be on Ethereum or Bitcoin, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, you just spelled it out pretty well there. And I think the thing it makes me think about is like trying to create some luxury good out of some like, not luxurious material. Like, try to be Prada or whatever the hell, insert big bag brand and make the stuff out of like fake leather instead of real leather. Like, that's what this feels like. You're trying to make a really high valuable PFP. I mean, like, don't kid yourselves. Like, that's exactly what y00ts wants to be. And I actually, like, full disclosure, suspected when y00ts was dropping in the initial hype that it had very much the capability of reaching something like that. But you just kind of threw that away by moving to, in my opinion, by moving to Polygon. You're trying to be this really high valuable NFT that moved to this very low value chain. And the chain itself is good for low value NFTs, as Jason just alluded to. It's good for those things. But it is not good for, promoting this luxury thing. It's like making a Rolex out of something that isn't Rolex stuff. You're not going to get a Rolex then. And yeah, I think that's perfectly said.
Well, I want to keep us moving here. My quick thoughts on that, though, I think that we're getting closer to chains mattering less. And I think that it's going to be an interesting case study because y00ts already has the factor of being a good PFP. People like it. I think it's a good PFP. I think the art is good. And they already have kind of a good community built. It's not like a new project that's coming on Polygon. So it's going to be interesting to see the people that went over there. You saw 85% of people already bridged. So it's an active, engaged community. I'm curious that if the team delivers, and maybe even comes up with some of those partnerships from the other Web2 brands that are kind of building on Polygon, does it really matter that y00ts themselves are on Polygon if the team delivers and rewards their holders? I'm not sure. We'll find out, but I'm a little bit more bullish on it than the rest of the group here.
I just want to say real quick, is that I think that chains won't matter in the future, chain agnostic, because it'll be super easy for them to switch to Optimism or Arbitrum and consider themselves ETH NFTs in the future anyway. So it doesn't really matter that much. It's going to be relatively low cost to switch to any chain that you want. And when it's relatively low cost and frictionless, then obviously the chain doesn't matter, because you transfer to Polygon and then it doesn't work. And then you're like, all right, screw it. We're going to Optimism. We're going to Arbitrum. We're going back to ETH. We're going to Solana. It doesn't matter. So I agree with you there. I just think that it's a weird move in the current condition and context.
Well, we'll leave it there. I'm sure we'll be talking about y00ts and DeGods more, as they are great at managing the attention economy here. Moving on to our final segment. I don't think we're going to have time for the bracketology, but let's talk about Nakamigos. All right. I'm excited for this one. Current very polarizing winner of the NFT space this week has been Nakamigos, which launched early last week, I believe, as a free mint for end of Satoshi pass holders. Project has been on an absolute tear, currently above a 0.4 ETH floor with massive volume coming in. Seems to be a very split sentiment on NFT Twitter. Many people calling it a pump and dump or a scam. The MFers community, which is primarily end of Satoshi people, supported it from the beginning and seemed to really be having fun and vibing with the collection. There's a lot of fun, unique traits. We got balloons, we got snowmen, we got crocodiles. They make good PFPs, honestly. To be fully transparent, I vibed with these and got in around 0.05 ETH. I've been buying some more on the run up here. I know Tyler finally gave in and got some yesterday. Seems like a lot of bigger names are FOMOing in today. We saw Mooncat get a bunch. I think we got a couple other big holders there who have been voicing their opinion. And then we saw like G-Funk and other big name influencers kind of be like, all right, I'm finally buying some of these. Got an example up of what these look like for those who aren't familiar with the collection. They also had some nice honoraries here that I wanted to call out. So you could probably figure out who's who from some of the influencers in the space or big names there. Some good ones there. But I wanted to get the group's thoughts on this run up. We don't see a new PFP kind of come on the scene and make noise like this recently in this market. So I'm curious to know what people think. I'll start with let's go to Logan.
I have no really super strong takes regarding Nakamigos. The part of the question of the roundtable was, is this here to stay? I do think it's not here to stay. I wouldn't be making a long-term bet personally on Nakamigos entirely, but I have no issue with them going up. It seems like a lot of the timeline is just like very mad about them going up, which is, I guess, to be fair, often the case if you don't have any, which I don't have any either. So no super strong takes. I think they're fine. They look like little Lego people to me, which is cool. It seems like the trait disparities are pretty wide and offer pretty wide range of opportunities for folks trying to find something that they may enjoy. So yeah, let people enjoy it. Why not? That's it. I don't have anything else.
Tyler or Jason, you want to jump in?
I'll say that if you go back to that last slide, that balloon one is sick. This is actually the first time that I've ever seen Nakamigos. I have no idea what this project is. I will say, good trade on your part, Ghost. Tyler, I'd like to remind you that we are in a bear market and do not continue to buy these. Whether or not these are here to stay, I don't think it really matters. I can almost guarantee you that they're going to go down in price.
We'll see. I think, of course, they're going to go down in price over time. I think the primary question is, what is that time horizon, and how long is this ride going to last? Quickly on that balloon, the balloon floor is 6.5 ETH right now. So if you want to purchase one of these pixelated pink balloons, you're going to have to pony up over $10,000.
I legit was looking at the balloons early on, and it was at I think 1.5 ETH or something, and I was like, it's a bear market. I cannot pay 1.5 ETH for this freaking balloon from a random project, and the joke's on me because I could have made probably a 5 ETH profit there.
With and 3 glasses too. With 3, that one is probably worth 100 ETH.
The Ghost tray right there is the most expensive, I believe, and I think the next slide here, yeah. So this one, we had a huge sale of a Ghost earlier today, I believe, or yesterday. But there has been a ton of buying up in rarity and like things that people like rather than just the floor. It doesn't seem to just be blur farming that's churning this out. There are a lot of people finding traits that they like here. And for those that, I'm not anyone in here specifically, but we saw a lot of stuff on the timeline about it being a pump and dump, or a lot of people just kind of coping and kind of being really negative about it. And I'm curious to hear from you guys, like what criteria do new projects have to face to not get that low effort pump and dump label? Like this was a free claim. It's unique art as far as we know. Like I don't understand how people can possibly say that this is kind of like a pump and dump. I know that we had some people pumping, or some people talking about it on the timeline that are in the past have made some pump and dump moves, but you can't pick and choose what people talk about. And I think that a lot of it has been very organic from the MFers community and broader space. So curious if anyone has any thoughts on that.
I mean, if it feels like it, in the literal translation of pump and dump, it is a pump and dump because it's going to dump. I mean, you just brought up a Nakamigo that is worth 1/3 of a CryptoPunk right now. It will not be worth 1/3 of a CryptoPunk in the future. There's no way. Just no way. I'm not anti Nakamigos. I don't think that it was necessarily a pump and dump. I think just once projects reach a certain percentage threshold, that they're going to be called pump and dumps. And that's because, I mean, it's so likely to go down at this point that I don't know.
I'm fine with your punks analogy, but a buddy in Discord was saying he doesn't see a single reason why Nakamigos can't flip Meebits, and I'm on his side because these are a much better collection than Meebits. But are they going to hold that? I'm not sure. I'm going to bet on that on a long-term horizon yet. But it goes back to your question. It's a really tough state of the market thing, and it's really going to matter, which alpha groups, which voices are kind of talking about projects early on. And that's why I was flooding this thing early in the week, because the primary people I saw on the spaces talking about this on Twitter, right, were folks who have had shadier pass. But then I saw that, Barat is the #1 owner. He's a pretty notable collector, though he does buy into a lot of things. And then some more, whales who buy and make longer term conviction plays started buying in. And that's kind of what changed my opinion. But I think Ken Watana made an interesting point. He's saying he doesn't think there will ever be a next Bored Ape Yacht Club because of the alpha group meta that we are in right now, and how quickly things move. And I think we're seeing an aspect of that now, with just how quickly these floors can run, but also the voices who are kind of getting tied to them, and how it can impact the market view on projects. So just a couple thoughts.
Ghost, do you want to know how you don't get labeled a pump and dump? You don't pump. Exactly that. Slow and steady growth. # Lucky Ducky.
So if your project doesn't get any traction, then you're not a pump and dumper. So you could just stay legitimate. But if you pump, then you're destined to dump. So you're automatically a scam.
Exactly.
Pretty much the state of the market right now.
Exactly that. Yep.
No, I mean, I honestly think there's still some people who would label like Bored Apes a pump and dump. Like, you can't escape that no matter what. Like, there's still people out there who are like, oh, Bored Apes are overpriced and they're going to dump back to 1 ETH. Like,
well, and I think we saw a lot of projects like Nakamigos that didn't really have a roadmap or anything. We saw it more in the bull market, and we haven't really seen one like that too much in the bear market as much, because it's become in fashion to really want teams to deliver on things, and not as many people are vibing in the bear market with stuff that doesn't have promised future utility. But for some reason, this one seems to really have struck a note with the community and people, and they have that built-in community from the MFers that really drove the action there. So it'll be interesting to watch. I've been vibing with the Nakamigos, wishing them the best. Let's take this up over Meebits just to watch Jason just cringe.
I mean, that's not gonna happen.
I mean, I would pick Nakamigos over like Owls. They're like kind of similar origin stories to a certain degree, right? Like basically free, near free, pump to like 0.4 pretty quickly. There's variables that are different there, but in terms of the time frame of pump and the starting price, like very similar, right, in nature in that way.
And what do you think the floor on Owls'
Oh, it's got to be 0. It's like got to be 0-0, right? I mean, definitely.
I think I saw today that Owls was up like 20% or something.
Oh, it's up 100%. It's at 0.5. It was 0.
Okay.
It was 0.025 earlier in the week.
I do think the big difference there is that Owls aren't a very good PFP, at least in my opinion. You can't put those there.
No, they're bad.
People, that is where you're latching onto like a narrative that isn't really there. Where these, like, I legitimately think that these make good PFPs. I think I saw someone say that on NFT Inspect right now that Nakamigos are one of the top collections like out of any NFT right now. So there are a lot of people that have made their PFPs and are engaging with it.
Yeah, and that's all it really takes. I mean, right, for a collection to do well. So I have nothing against Nakamigos. I hope they go to the moon for you guys. I watched. I think it minted last Friday when we were hosting the lead. Tyler was out. We announced it on the show that Nakamigos were minting. I watched it all happen. I didn't participate.
Yeah, I think I actually wrote that in my when I was covering for Tyler. I wrote that in my what's coming up today, and I didn't pay attention to it at all. And then I got in early enough compared to what it's at now, but I did not know what it was.
I gotta breaking news. I'm on NFT Inspect. The Nakamigos Twitter account is number 2 in NFT Twitter profile global reach right now.
Don't fade the Nakamigos, man.
With 16%.
You guys think that it's just going to keep running, huh? You think it's going to hit number 1 and take off to the moon, and the skull's going to be worth more than a CryptoPunk?
I just don't know how it can ever drop from here once it's attained this
really
level.
It could never go down now.
I will say though, this is a hat tip to Turvo, who writes Page One. I'm not sure if you've seen his tweets regarding like sometimes when your feed is really just ever present with a particular thing, like you just sort of buy them and like just let it happen, right? Like you have the ability to kind of cope and, you know, block it out and be like, this is stupid as shit. But if it becomes overwhelmingly the majority of your feed and you're seeing a lot of it, most of those things end up pumping. Like it happened actually with MFers in particular. That's like a really good example of one where they started to slowly kind of, permeate NFT Twitter and went from like 0.2 to 7. And it was a different time in the market, of course, but like that's a great way that if you're just like being overwhelmed and you don't want to cope later, like maybe just buy a couple, sit on them. If they go away, they go to 0, you can harvest it at the end of the year. And if they go up, you can sell it and not feel like a dunce.
Here's a question for you. Do we think that these can flip MFers? And is this, like you've been talking, Logan, is this a little brother collection of MFers, or is this a unique, its own collection here, and they could just run on their own?
I think it is, like, by my definition, I think it is a little brother collection, but this is somewhat unique in the sense that, like, it's born out of, like, the death of the first collection, if that kind of makes sense. So I don't expect it to flip MFers. I just think like mathematically, like it probably doesn't make too much sense, right? It's like a double the collection and likely a bit less of the provenance. I don't even think it's likely a bit less. I think it's like definitely less of the potential provenance. So maybe a short-term flippening just because of the the considerations with volume and points and blur farming and stuff. But I wouldn't expect over any longer time horizon for these to flip MFers.
It's already flipped by market cap, and it's 3x the supply. I think we're going to see the floor flip for sure. The art is better on Nakamigos. The traits are way better. They're way more collectible, and they've got just way more momentum. And the NFT market is a momentum market.
So yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with Tyler that these are way better than MFers. I don't really like MFers that much. The art here is much, much better. I'm not sure that matters. The momentum part definitely does matter. It's where does that momentum stop? And when it does stop, why does it stop going down? And there's no reason. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but there's no reason that it doesn't stop going down once it starts going down. And so just don't round trip these is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but would you rather own an MFer or a Nakamigo? Like right now, of course, but like let's say this time next year, like what you had to hold for a year.
If it was about the art, I'd rather own a Nakamigo, but it's not about the art.
Not about the art.
I'd rather own an MFer for 1 year, yes.
Same here.
So MFers are at like a 0.95 floor here. Nakamigos are around 0.4. So we need another 2.5x there from Nakamigos to get to that level. I don't think it's unreasonable. Also, what does that mean for end of Satoshi passes? Because those are 0.07 ETH, and those just got airdropped basically, or it was a free claim for them. So that's a nice little payday.
Can I add a question in here, Ghost?
Yeah.
So I wrote up this morning, end of Satoshi's next artist pass airdrops coming from Pixel Lord. The pre-mint raffle went live today. You can find all the details at luckytrader.com. But I was just generally curious, like, do you think Nakamigos will make people pay a bit more attention to the end of Satoshi passes? I mean, the collection thus far is like, it's gotten work from Pop Wonder, from Patrick Amadon, Pixel Lord's like big. And like, by all accounts, not many people are entering these raffles. I don't have the details in the last two, but the first one, only like 1,200 people of the 27,000, is it 27,000 or some shit? There's like a lot of passes, but only like 1,200 people or something joined the raffle, making your odds of getting one of those pieces like quite. So I guess a question to the group, like, are you more interested after the Nakamigos success in owning an end of Satoshi pass?
The market definitely is. So there's 17,000 of these, and they're up 200% since Nakamigos took off. And in the group chats I'm in, people are much more actively monitoring EOS, and these art drops are now getting passed around much more than they were. Of course, we'll see if that lasts, over the course of the month. But Satoshi is clearly a big winner in this. You can debate how tied in he is, but definitely coming out on top.
I mean, I think that just shows how, recency bias plays into the NFT community way too frequently. And I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to release a Nakamigos once a year. Like, you don't control whether these go from 0.0 whatever to 0.4. It's unlikely to happen again. I mean, I'm no more interested in owning End of Satoshi than I was yesterday or a week ago, whenever these came out.
I think it's a low entry point right now to where it might be a high risk reward. I do agree with Jason that I think this is kind of the perfect recipe of things that would need to happen again. And it's really hard to recreate the magic that you get from a drop like Nakamigos, where I don't think that every drop will have this much success. But I think at 0.07 ETH, it's given the art that they've had and now Nakamigos, it's not a bad play there. So interesting. And I don't think any of us were really looking at End of Satoshi prior to the Nakamigos. So kudos to that drop for being really good. I think that's all we got, though, for today. I don't think we're going to get to the NFT bracketology. Any closing thoughts, guys? Like 30 seconds for anything on your mind?
Just that the bears are absolutely reeling right now. They are exhausted from selling every NFT in their collection and turning their PFPs back into their normal pictures. And we're starting to see a little bit of a rebound, at least in some of these collections. Whether it's going to last long or not, of course, I don't know. But let's enjoy it while we have it.
Yeah, I just would say Calio, this super fan of Calio, suggested today or yesterday on Twitter that the bull market is coming late 2024 or early 2025, and that NFTs are going to surpass crypto in percentage gains. So long-term bullish on NFTs still. But yeah, I think just a reminder to everyone out there that this is still a bear market.
I don't really have anything. I'm going to challenge myself to maybe listen to one Avenged Sevenfold song.
And I would love to watch a live stream of you rocking out to Avenged Sevenfold.
I'm going to challenge you to go ahead.
We'll try to make it through a full song. Let's see how we start there.
I'm going to challenge you to prepare a closing thought for the next show, given that we know this is a standing segment.
Yeah, sorry.
I think my 30 seconds here are about AI. I'm still just mind blown every day at how much is coming out. And my favorite one recently was the Kanye West. Like, they fed his voice into the machine and basically just had him cover any song he wanted. And there was some actual like real bangers in there. So I think the music industry is about to be pretty disrupted by AI there. So we'll leave it at that.
When are we going to do an AI show? Just me and you talking about AI.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm ready. And I know Jason has basically uploaded himself into ChatGPT, and this might not even be Jason on the show right now. It might just be GPT. But all right, that's our show for the week. If you guys like this content and want more of our hot takes, make sure you check out the Roundtable article that we just posted, and we hash out a lot of the same topics and news there. And check out Tyler, myself, and sometimes Logan on the Lucky Lead and CT, who was in the chat today. every morning on Twitter Spaces at 10 a.m. Eastern or in podcast format after. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we are out.